when you're in the sales pitch, what you're doing is you're telling the customer what the end state would look like. You're pitching the promised land, and when you start to onboard the customer, you've got an opportunity to start walking their entire organization into that same sales pitch. Because sometimes it might be the executive or the economic decision maker or some other person within the organization that you effectively pitched with your sales organization, and now your service delivery team has to achieve the service promise that you promised the organization. And that might mean initially selling the rest of the team within the company that you just sold the value of the product to each of them. And so they might realize why it was important to their boss to say yes, but now your organization's opportunity is to explain why is it important to the people that are going to be using the product every day. And so the opportunity for enterprise software selling is to sell into the organization with the service promise that you can hit with your delivery team, which is all account management, and then sell into a initial beachhead of value that you can expand over time. That might be other departments or other modules that you can provide or whatever. One example of when this, I think, has been done really effectively was back when I was running Prognosis. We had a very complicated sales process. We had to sell to not only the chief nursing officer, who normally really could not stand changing out electronic health record systems, but then that person, the CNO, had to communicate it to all the physicians who generally were not employees of the hospital. And so his or her role within the implementation was vital, because if she didn't believe in the service promise that we were delivering, then she wasn't going to have the hard conversations with the physicians to get them onboarded. And so when we did that really, really well, we ended up with a entire organization, entire hospital that loved using our product, which meant that it delivered the value that we promised them in the sales process. Because in software, the users are complicit in creating the value that you're telling them that your product can provide. And so if you don't onboard them well, there's no way that they can get to the end result of value. Then there's no way that they're going to see value and ultimately in buying your product. And so then it became this spider web of value that cemented us in there for decades in some cases. It also allowed us, once we sold the core product, to come and bolt on additional follow-on sales, because generally it's too big of an ask at the front end to replace all of someone's solutions. You have to start with what they can tolerate. And so in our case, that was the clinical EMR. Then we could expand into the financial product, into time and attendance and payroll, into the billing solution, eventually into billing services. And we could only do those if our initial service promise was met, because if we didn't meet that, there's no way that they're going to give us the rest.